And Peter Schrager and Kyle Brandt. Kyle, I'm so happy that you did not decide to grow a beard and keep it until Le'Veon Bell decided to show up. I mean, you did it with Carson Wentz and interceptions, but that would be, you'd be Moses at this point.
It's true. When Carson Wentz started his career, I said, I'm not going to shave until there was an interception. He went 4 weeks, including the bye, and I was starting to look like Modest Yahoo. If I had done Le'Veon Bell, forget about it. No. Clean shaven. And I think he's going to report today. I'll say it again.
You think so?
I have a feeling he's going to report. I'm looking at the clues.
I'd love to get what you guys think. So let's do it. Let's hit it. It's time for the lead block.
Lead block.
Has arrived. It's today. Le'Veon Bell has until 4 p.m. Eastern to sign the franchise tender with the Steelers, or else he'll be ineligible to play with the Steelers for the rest of the season. Shrags, where do things stand and where could they go from here?
You nailed it, Kay. 4 p.m. today is the deadline. If he shows up, he'll get the remainder of his salary prorated, $6 million for the year, and then at the end of the season, he will likely become a free agent. If he doesn't show up, he forfeits every last dollar he would have been due if he had agreed to the franchise tag and shown up at any point. That's $14 million on the whole, which is a lot. Now, a lot of things go into this. The Steelers are rolling right now. They don't necessarily need Le'Veon Bell. And on the other end of it, Le'Veon Bell says, I've got fresh legs. I'm going to be another year older, but having not played and been healthy the entire season, maybe that extends my career. And you look at all the teams on the free agent market who might want to add a running back. Todd Gurley set the market with about $16 million per year plus a bunch of guaranteed money. If Le'Veon Bell can get more than Todd Gurley, which was 16, if he can get 17 or 18 from, say, the Colts or the Bucks or the Ravens or whoever this offseason, then you can say, okay, he made a financial decision, he preserved his legs, and over that course of the next 5 years, he's going to make that money back. He stood for something. He set the market for running backs. The question is, what is he sacrificing? He's sacrificing $14 million, literally burning it on fire. It's just money that was due to him he will not be doing. And he is sacrificing a legacy with the Steelers. And lastly, he's sacrificing a chance to play football this season. How will teams view that around the league? It's fascinating because with so many players, their agents talk to the media, and the agent tells the media this is what exactly is going on, and it's accurate.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell's agent, Adisa Bakari, is a trusted and well-liked agent around. He even would say to a man, it's up to Le'Veon. At 4 p.m. Eastern, if he shows up at 3:58, that's his decision. But as of right now, all the tea leaves are saying he will not be showing up, and the season will progress, and we will have a 2018 NFL campaign without Le'Veon Bell on the field.
There's so many layers to this situation, and you hear negotiation, you hear leverage, and you hear words like legacy. And for athletes, all we want is to leave our legacy. You know, sometimes that's with Super Bowl rings, with the money you make, the plays that you put out there, the memories, the fantasy points that you put up for certain fans. For other guys, legacy is much deeper than that. New Jack City is one of my favorite movies. And in there, Nino Brown says, it's bigger than Nino Brown. This is bigger than Le'Veon Bell. And that's what he's sitting back thinking. At home, where everybody's talking about him and talking about his legacy, 5-10 years from now, Le'Veon can leave the game a much wealthier man than he was when he walked in. And you know what a great legacy is? It might not be the Super Bowl rings. It might not even be playing for a winning team. It might be setting a new benchmark for running backs that are typically the team's best rusher and then oftentimes their second or third best receiver. And Le'Veon saying, if we're touching the ball more than anybody on the field next to the quarterback, why not pay us as such? I'm okay with this. Yes, he's taking his lumps and bumps and bruises, but there's been many athletes across every sport that had to stand for something so the rest of the guys wouldn't fall for anything.
His legacy was supposed to be he's the Pittsburgh Steelers' Emmitt Smith. Le'Veon Bell had a hell of a hand, all right? We're in the Super Bowl window. Yep. I might be your best player. I'm a prolific player. Had a hell of a hand, and he decided to play it. We cannot overestimate the role that James Conner has played in this whole thing because he was the Teddy KGB who sat down and called, and he didn't have it. There's a really interesting name, I think, that should be thrown around today, and it's a guy named Derek Lassick. Derek Lassick, in 1993, Emmitt Smith said, we're coming off a Super Bowl. I'm Emmitt, just like Le'Veon. I'm going to hold out. He didn't show up for the first 2 games. The Cowboys lost both of them, and Derek Lassick was the guy who filled in for Emmitt Smith. He was a rookie. He's the first rookie to ever start for a reigning Super Bowl champ. He didn't get it done. It was obvious that they badly needed Emmitt, and it's almost, the parallels are crazy. We've heard the Steelers linemen talk about Le'Veon. Back when this was happening, the Cowboys lineman, the legendary line of the 90s, was saying things like Nate Newton, this is a nice kid here, but if we want a Super Bowl, we need Emmett. Eric Williams, this Lassick kid can't run like Emmett can. All the things that the Steelers were not saying about James Conner.
Okay.
If James Conner comes in and doesn't have it, and the Steelers start 1-3, this whole thing could be completely different. James Conner's had it. He's really, really poured on. If James Conner was Derek Lassick, I think Le'Veon Bell may have a big contract. They may say, we got to pay this guy. We need him in here. The problem with Le'Veon is his hand got called because of 30 right there. He had a better hand, and he overplayed it. That's the deal.
Cowboys folklore. The story goes, Michael Irvin from the NFL Network came into Jerry's office and said, get it done.
It's like Antonio going in the Steelers front office and saying,
Really?
get Le'Veon in
We
here.
have not had Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, or Cam Hayward
No need to.
bang their fist to Mike Tomlin and the front office and say, get it done. No one's done that.
Hey, Trace, what sort of like precedent is this going to set? Let's say his legacy is to reset the mark. Like, doesn't that just make it seem like more players could do that? I know he's a special talent. He has different circumstances, but players don't always see it that way.
No, and, Kay make a great point, and Nate, I thought you did it so eloquently, talking about what he stands for with the running back position. It's very hard in the 24-hour, what you call fast food football, to appreciate the 30,000-foot view, and I think that's what this is. This is running backs have long been underpaid in the NFL. So Todd Gurley got paid, but he also signed a 4-year extension. It's a 6-year contract. Like, if Le'Veon Bell breaks the market, Kay, then Leonard Fournette has a stand to make with the Jaguars, and Ezekiel Elliott can do the same with the Cowboys. Like, Kurt Flood was a former baseball player who created free agency in baseball. Oscar Robertson basically held up the ABA-NBA merger in the 70s because he thought free agency should come to the NBA. There was free agency in football in the early 90s, but this is something very specific to the running back position, which is the one position on the field that doesn't get paid up to the performance on the field. So I find it to be fascinating because there are no historians of the running back position that are going to come out today. But what Nate said was kind of spot on. And if you're that younger generation, if you're one of these young college running backs coming in, Le'Veon Bell is standing for you. And I don't even know if the other players around the league are recognizing that right now.
But do GMs and front offices and owners like that? Do they like this precedent that he's setting?
No.
Like, are they going to reward that? I mean, I know somebody is in the offseason because of how talented he is, but it just seemed like, what precedent is he setting, not aside from the running back position, just in the league and how to handle business?
Yeah, it's very rare that a guy will miss an entire season standing for something. We've seen Joey Galloway hold out 8 games. We've seen Emmitt Smith hold out 2 games. Sean Gilbert's done it. I mean, this is rare air.
Do you think we'll see it more now?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think it's such a unique situation.
And it is a unique situation for the simple fact that if Le'Veon does this successfully, guys don't have to in the future. That's the whole point. It's just like Leonardo DiCaprio, for so long underappreciated. Movie after movie after movie, never wins an Oscar. He literally had to fight with a grizzly bear.
It almost died.
Yeah, he had to almost die.
It was a movie.
He's getting dragged through the mud. I know, metaphorically speaking.
Very realistic conditions on that ship. How dare you?
Listen,
I think he did die, but okay.
metaphorically speaking, though, he had to get dragged through the mud by a grizzly bear in order for him to get appreciated from the masses. Le'Veon Bell, he's getting dragged through the mud right now, but the running back for so long, Trace, so long, Kyle, being a running back. You know, you look at these guys putting in all this work, some of the best players we've seen in the history of this league. These guys can pay crumbs.
Hey, C.J. Anderson ran for 1,000 yards, was released by his team, signed with a new team, was already cut from them. So, like, that's how quickly these running backs go. So he's looking for long-term pay me.
But is it not playing right now, not showing up before the 4 p.m. deadline? We've got everything you guys need all day long on this, by the way, on NFL Network. Does that help his value going into next year and getting paid?
Yeah. If you're a team, you don't want to see him on the field getting beat up.
The odometer factor. For running backs, it's all about how much treads on the tires.
Even
it's
at
really
week
big.
11, if they don't play him a ton and they can't activate him, until a couple of weeks from now?
He can be activated this week, but he can be exempt, meaning they can give him 2 weeks where he gets ready and then they get him on
So you
the
guys
field.
think it'll hurt him, not help him for his next year deal if he's not on the field this year?
Tread on tires, okay?
What about like being just a team?
That sounds really good, and then you see him make a play, and they're like, screw it, let's just bring him in because he's that good.
Yeah.
But that makes it that complicated, Kay. It's that tough.
You guys can tweet us at #GMFB. There was a Monday Night Football game that was awesome.